Oh, the car from Carvana's here. Well, will you look at that? It's exactly what I ordered. Like, precisely. It would be crazy if there were any catches. But there aren't, right?
Right. Because that's how car buying should be. With Carvana, you get the car you want. Choose delivery or pickup and a week to love it or return it.
Buy your car today with
Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This is Optimal Health Daily. Health Habits Guide, The How-Tos for Body Transformation, Part 1 by Deen of JCDfitness.com, and I'm your narrator, Dr. Neil. Happy Monday and welcome to another edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I read some of the best blogs covering health and fitness, just like an audiobook. Now, we have 5 shows where we do this. Just search for Optimal Living Daily to find all of them. Now, today's post is a bit longer than what I typically narrate, so, like I normally do, I'll read the first half today and then finish it up for you tomorrow. And with that, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. Health Habits Guide, The How-Tos for Body Transformation, Part 1 by Deen of JCDfitness.com. In a previous article about health habits, I made a point to help you see that not all health advice is the best advice, even when it's backed by good intention. And that's because it must come with some type of context for your personal needs. We covered a bit about what habits are, how hard they are to change, and I even referenced some ideas from my book, Stay Leaner Longer. In this article, I'm going to give you a framework to build health habits that stick. Most goal-setting advice is good-intentioned, but hard to implement. The traditional goal-setting advice is to set SMART goals. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Now, while I don't disagree with this idea, I want to take it further and actually give you the framework on how to set a goal and work toward it. Anyone can sit down and write out a specific, measurable, realistic goal that is measurable and timely. But how do you actually go about getting yourself to do the work? That's the hard part. Because while it's fairly easy to sit down to daydream and brainstorm and put your goals to paper, the taking action part is tough. This is why it's easy to get caught in a trap of thinking there are some people who just get things done, while others only procrastinate. The only difference between these people is calculated action. Taking calculated action is a combination of being willing to do the daily work and having clarity on what needs to happen. Anything you do on a daily basis is considered a habit. But when it comes to actually creating a new habit, it's easy to get discouraged because change is hard, even when we know that the change might improve our lives or make us happier. I know, it doesn't seem to make sense, but it's true. We crave familiarity, even if it's not doing us any good. For a quick example, let's use the topic of fat loss. When most people are starting out with a goal of fat loss, the entire process can seem overwhelming. You have to change your eating habits, make better food choices, create a caloric deficit, track your intake, exercise, lift weights, which is not mandatory but recommended, get enough rest, manage your sleep schedule, deal with hunger and cravings, manage stress, and manage your emotions. You're human after all, on top of everything else I previously mentioned. Now, depending on where you are, some of what I just mentioned might be easy for you. But for many wanting to make changes, this list might be incomplete considering all you have to deal with. When you're trying to create new habits and kick the bad habits, you're attempting to change your behavior. And changing your behavior is no easy feat. Charles Duhigg, author of the book The Power of Habit, estimates that more than 40% of your daily actions are not conscious decisions, but unconscious habits. How to change behavior. Keeping it simple wins every time. Ever wonder why people fail miserably with their New Year's resolutions? There are many reasons, but the main problems are a lack of a plan that is manageable, and most people try to change too much at once. They want to go to the gym, Eat better. Join a running club. Get up earlier. Commit to reading a new book each week. Keeping a journal. And the list goes on. And before you know it, the changes people try to implement last a few weeks at best, and then they're back to their old routine. This is due to inertia. It's easier to fall back to what's familiar and ultimately remain unchanged. I speak about this among other topics in my GMB podcast interview. So when you're trying to change your behavior, instead of trying to change a million things at once, it's best to focus on only 1 or 2 changes at a time. If you try to change all of your health habits at once, you will burn out. Inertia will win. So let's say you want to lose body fat and get into better shape, and you want to make all of the following changes. Start waking up early. Get more sunlight. Commit to training 4 times per week at the gym. Make all meals at home. And go for a long walk after dinner. That's a lot to change at once. And to prevent the dreaded burnout and the self-sabotaging negative self-talk that comes with it, it's best to pick a singular goal and only focus on that for a while before adding anything else. But here's where most people get this dead wrong. Do not fall into this cycle. You sit down and write out all the things you want to change to be healthier and more fit. You write down those SMART goals, basically. You employ the typical goal-setting mentality of needing to make a massive change all at once, which is the New Year's resolutions approach. And instead of choosing one aspect of your lifestyle to change, you want to change everything, starting Monday morning. You wake up early on Monday and get to the gym for a hard workout. When you get back home, you cook breakfast and pack a nutritious lunch for work. After the day ends, you get home to cook dinner, usually something easy and bland, like chicken breast, green veggies, and potatoes. And then, despite being horribly exhausted from waking up an hour early to hit the gym, you go for that post-dinner walk you promised yourself. You repeat the same schedule on Tuesday, but the fatigue is real as you drag yourself to the gym. Despite being worn out when you get home from work, you make dinner and go for that post-dinner walk. But come Friday, you've slipped up on a few of your goals. You've either slept in and missed the morning workout, or gotten takeout at lunch because you couldn't pack anything due to missing grocery shopping the night before. Instead of cooking dinner, you're worn out from waking up super early, so you stop by your favorite restaurant on the drive home. And before long, all of these good ideas for making changes have just become that, good ideas. You've soon abandoned your initial goals because, let's face it, making all these changes at once is incredibly hard for anyone. Not only is it hard, but it's discouraging because while you want to change, the actual process requires planning, strategy, effort, focus, and willpower. So what's the solution? You start with one change to make, and that's it. You continue to work on that one thing until it becomes routine. Let's take an example using the same scenario I just mentioned. I know you want to get up earlier, cook more meals at home, go to the gym 4 days per week, and take walks after dinner. What if you just picked one of those changes to focus on instead of all of them? It'd be much easier on you. And once you got that change mastered, it'd be time to move on to the next. For example, you could start with going to the gym. No matter what, commit to the gym 4 days per week. If all else within your week fails, just get to the gym. Make that your mantra. After a month or so of making this happen, it will be more routine. Then it's time to make another change. What could you improve next? You could decide to make a better effort to cook more meals at home. Now that the training habit is taken care of, you have more mental energy to focus on eating better. In time, cooking at home will become routine, just like training. And here's where your efforts stack on one another. In fact, now that most dinner meals are made at home, it's super easy to go for that walk after dinner. Building one habit can easily lead into creating another one. Since these goals are related, this is called habit stacking. Now, all you'd have to do is focus on getting up earlier, which will require a similar approach as the other goals, because it's an act of changing your behavior. And with any deliberate change in behavior, we must be focused and prepared to deal with the lulls we are bound to experience. So, how can you make your goals mean more to you? How will you ensure you actually stick to the process of making change? Hear that on tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled Health Habits Guide, The How-Tos for Body Transformation by Deen of JCDfitness.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast? Smart move. Being financially savvy? Smart move. Another smart move? Having State Farm help you create a competitive price when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Transform your home during Blinds.com's Cyber Monday Super Sale. Get up to 50% off site-wide, plus huge doorbuster deals on popular styles. Go DIY and do it all 100% online, or choose white glove service with expert design help and professional installation. Both backed by Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Blinds.com's Cyber Monday Super Sale is here. Save up to 50% site-wide and get a free professional measure. Limited time offer, rules and restrictions apply. See Blinds.com for details.
Dr. Neal here for my commentary. I loved that JC referenced Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit. I've actually read it and have mentioned this book a few times as well. And I completely agree with JC's approach here. When you think about how many potential goals you have to meet just to lose a little fat around the belly, it can immediately feel overwhelming. It's easy to start telling ourselves, wow, I'm never going to be able to do all of those things. I've never been able to consistently perform one healthy habit, let alone 10. So you end up experiencing paralysis by analysis. Instead, though, as JC mentioned, what if you just chose 1 or 2 habits to begin with? What if you chose the 1 or 2 easiest ones? By starting with the easiest ones, you can build up that momentum JC was talking about. Accomplishing a goal, even if it's a tiny one, can lead to increased confidence. This increased confidence can help you accomplish another goal, maybe one that's just a bit more challenging. But instead of experiencing paralysis by analysis, you're now ready to tackle this new goal. You've already begun making progress, and now you can tackle a new goal with that increased level of confidence. And before you know it, you've successfully stacked a bunch of behaviors together and formed, guess what? A new habit. All right, that'll do it from me for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening every day and for sharing this show with someone. I'll be back here tomorrow to finish up this post, so I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.